Can A Nightmare on Elm Street prove that not all remakes are bad?
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
A burned killer named Freddy Krueger haunts teens in their dreams where death is real. As bodies pile up, a small group races to uncover Freddy's past and stop him before sleep kills them. Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. So we are finally on to the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I wasn't too harsh on this movie when it first came out, albeit I hadn't seen the movie since I watched it in the cinema 15 years ago or over 15 years ago now. Can't believe it's been that long, but I was one of the people that didn't mind the movie. I'm actually all for remakes, and I still am today. I think most remakes are better than their original. And when I first watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, I didn't think it was better than the original, of course, but I thought, what's all the fuss about? Why is everybody hating on this movie? I also felt like whether people saw it or not, they were just hating on it because Robert Englund didn't come back as Freddy Krueger. And at the time, a lot of people started to turn on remakes. So whether they saw the movie or not, they thought, I'm not watching it. I hate it already. If we start with the positives, first of all, I think the dream set pieces are actually excellent. The look and the feel of the dreams in this movie were really good. Obviously, this film had a bigger budget than all of the previous films before it, so they had that to their advantage. So when it comes to being creative with those set pieces and the set designs, they were great. When it comes to the kills were pretty gruesome and graphic. If you're into your horror with a lot of blood, guts and gore, then you might enjoy the kills in this one, even if you don't enjoy anything else. I think the kills are pretty gruesome. My last positive would be that the story is actually more coherent than the original story. I'm not saying it's better, I just feel like it's more coherent. People have a reason for doing what they're doing now. When you look at, I know some people think this is a negative, but I think this is a positive, where we're starting to feel sorry for Freddy Krueger. We actually think, oh, wait a minute, in this one, he's not a bad guy. He just turned into a bad guy because he was falsely accused of abusing the children in the story. Now, that's quite good for a film like this, but then it's revealed near the end of the movie, no, in fact, he was a child molester, he was a bad guy. I think flipping that switch to make us feel like we're feeling sorry for Freddy Krueger is a good idea, and then flipping it at the end to go, wait a minute, he is a bad guy after all. Let's move on to the negatives for the film, and there is quite a lot of negatives, unfortunately. If we look at Nancy, first of all, Nancy's supposed to be the main protagonist, the main character of the entire film, but she doesn't really get going until around the 48th minute in the bathtub scene. That's when we truly think, okay, Nancy is the main character, but for the first 45 to 48 minutes, she was just there. Everybody else felt like a main character apart from Nancy. She didn't really belong in the movie until people started dying, and then she became that main character halfway through the movie. Next up, we've got the score. I felt like the score was boring in scenes where it's supposed to look like it's interesting. When that score came on, it just made me want to fall asleep. And you're not supposed to want to fall asleep, especially if Freddy Krueger's coming after you. But the score just made some scenes feel really boring. And even during the scenes where people are just talking, I felt like just falling asleep. Next up, we've got Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. Now, Jackie Earle Haley as an actor is a great actor. Really good. For this role, I felt like he was fighting a losing battle because nobody wanted to see anybody else other than Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Me, on the other hand, I didn't mind. As long as the person that came in done a good job, I would be happy with that. But unfortunately for Jackie Earle Haley, with the big shoes to fill for Robert Englund, with the terrible makeup that they used, I know they went for a real burn victim, but the real burn victim look didn't work for this one because it looked ridiculous. We had to see him be able to emote more than Jackie Earle Haley was able to do. So the look of him was terrible as well. When it comes to being scary, yes, I think he was scary at times, especially with his voice, but his one-liners didn't go with his voice. When he was trying to look menacing and sound menacing, They gave him stupid one-liners that were supposed to be like Robert Englund's quippy one-liners that were supposed to be quite funny at times, but his ones didn't fit the theme of the movie. So although he was supposed to be funny at times, it just didn't work.
I was just petting him.
I found it strange to give us character name changes in the remake. Yes, they wanted to go their own route and do something different, but you already gave us Nancy and you gave us Freddy Krueger. Why not just give us the same names as the first movie so we can associate some of the characters with who they're supposed to be? I know that Quentin, played by Kyle Gallner, was probably supposed to be Johnny Depp's character Glenn, but because they had different names, these characters felt like new characters that we just couldn't get behind. The characters also made dumb decisions, the most terrible decisions that characters could make in a typical horror movie. Yes, it's a horror movie, we can forgive them for that, but at the same time, some of the decision making that they made were just too bad. Also, the dialogue with these characters, the dialogue as well, I didn't notice it at the time, but watching it back after 15 years, the dialogue was so cringy that I was like, oh my god, this is bad.
I loved her, man! I couldn't kill her!
For such a stacked cast, and I mean stacked, there's everybody in this movie is known. Nobody stood out as being a great character or a great actor. If I had to choose anybody, and that's with my hands tied behind my back, I would say that Kyle Gallner as Quentin gave the best performance in the movie. He's always good in his movies, and he's usually a standout anyway, and he was a standout in this, but for the rest of the cast, no.
From what you kids told us,
We were 5! We would have said anything!
The movie is also completely forgettable as well. They tried to do their own thing and it didn't work. And the best parts of the movie were the parts that were mirroring the first movie, like the bathtub scene with Tina. She's not called Tina in this one, getting dragged away in the body bag. The face coming out the wall, even though the CGI was terrible. Everything in the movie was forgettable apart from the scenes that were mimicking the first movie. And finally, outside of the dream in the real world, nothing looked aesthetically pleasing. Everything looked like it's coming from like a Hallmark movie or just something that's made for TV. It is very of its time, but I know that there's movies from back in 2010 that aesthetically look good, but for a film that had a bigger budget than the previous movies, outside of the dream world, everything looked just plain and simple. Looking back on this, I am baffled that I thought this was a good movie. I didn't even hate the movie at all, and I still don't hate the film. It's not the worst film ever made, but there's more negatives than there are positives, and especially more now, after 15 years. I feel like this movie has dated faster than a lot of the other films on the list, and it's funny because this is the latest one in the movie, in the franchise. So looking back on it, I think it's dated the fastest out of them all. I think the only positive that I can take from this film is the dream sequences. And the only reason the dream sequences looked semi-decent is because of the budget that they had. If they had this budget in the previous films, I think the previous films would be a lot better than the remake. But the only thing the remake going for it is it had a bigger backing than the rest of the franchise.
Oh God, no. Just me.
Overall though, guys, I have to admit, this isn't a good remake at all. One of the worst films in the franchise. I won't tell you where it ranks until we do the ranking for the movies, but just know that this is just not a good film. But what do you think? Do you think it's aged better than I think it has? Do you like the movie? Do you hate the movie? And do you hate remakes overall? As always, leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
I'll be right back!
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat? Someone's in the back!